Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Tombstone Tourist. This week, I'm at the Pinewood Memorial Park in Greenville, North Carolina. Greenville is a college town home to East Carolina University and is named for Revolutionary War General Nathaniel Greene. A number of notable people have called Greenville home over the years, including actress and ECU graduate Sandra Bullock, Wilbur Hardy, the founder of Hardee's fast food restaurant chain, and Major League umpire Joe West, who worked a record 5,460 Major League games over a 43-year career. Today, I'm here to visit another notable Greenville resident, the man professional wrestling fans know as the Russian Bear, the great Ivan Koloff. Ivan Koloff was born Oriel Donald Piraeus near Montreal, Canada on August 25, 1942. He, along with his 6 brothers and 3 sisters, were raised on a dairy farm. Each of the kids had a list of daily chores which, along with school, occupied most of their day. Young Don was about 8 years old when he started watching professional wrestling on TV, and he was so captivated by the wrestlers that he was determined to one day take his place in the ring. When he turned 18, Don dropped out of high school and enrolled in a wrestling school in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don worked hard to learn the holds and how to take the bumps, and his hard work would pay off in 1963 when he debuted as an Irish villain named Red McNulty. For the next 3 years, Red would appear on shows throughout the Toronto area. In 1967, the character of Red McNulty had pretty much run its course, and after taking some time off, Don decided to rebrand himself and join the International Wrestling Association. It was here that the Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff, was born. In 1969, Ivan left the IWA and moved to the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, where he was managed by Captain Lou Albano. Almost immediately, Ivan began feuding with WWWF champion Bruno Sammartino. On January 18, 1971, Ivan and Bruno faced off for the championship in Madison Square Garden. After a grueling match, Ivan delivered a knee drop from the top rope, and much to the dismay of the sellout crowd, defeated Sammartino, ending his 7-year reign as WWWF champion. Ivan's championship reign was short-lived, as just 21 days later, he dropped the belt to another fan favorite, Pedro Morales. After dropping the championship, Ivan decided to leave the WWWF and move to the National Wrestling Alliance. During the 1970s and 80s, Ivan became one of the NWA's most successful wrestlers, appearing for Georgia and Florida Championship Wrestling, along with Jim Crockett Promotions' Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. While in the NWA, Ivan won a number of solo titles. He also teamed up with the likes of Don Kernodle, Ray Stevens, and Crusher Khrushchev to capture several tag team titles. In 1984, while appearing for Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Ivan introduced his nephew, Nikita Koloff, to the wrestling world. For several years, Ivan and Nikita Koloff would be one of the Mid-Atlantic area's most feared tag teams, feuding with the likes of Dusty Rhodes and Manny Fernandez, the Rock and Roll Express, and even the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Gene and Ole Anderson. In the mid-1980s and early 1990s, Ivan continued to wrestle for the NWA, feuding with the likes of very popular Magnum TA, Chief Wahoo McDaniels, and even the Four Horsemen, managed by James J. Dillon. But during this same period of time, the writing on the wall began to appear. and the days of the wrestling territories were numbered. One by one, the territories were swallowed up by one of the two national promotions, Ted Turner's World Championship Wrestling and Vince McMahon's World Wrestling Entertainment. Ivan would appear for both promotions over the next few years, but finally he had had enough and decided to retire in 1993 following a match on ECW's Hardcore TV. Ivan's retirement will last the better part of 10 years. Then in 2003, he returned to the ring, making spot appearances for the WWE, but largely appearing for smaller independent promotions. Over the next 10 years, Ivan Koloff could be found wrestling in high school gyms and small arenas throughout the South and Eastern United States. On November 16th, 2013, the Russian Bear battled Bob Armstrong in Rome, Georgia. This would be Ivan Koloff's final match. This time, he retired for good. In retirement, Ivan lived here in the community of Winterville, North Carolina, just a few miles outside of Greenville. He stayed connected to the wrestling world by making frequent guest appearances at wrestling conventions and reunion shows. But after a few years, Ivan's health began to fail, and he was eventually diagnosed with liver cancer. The disease would claim his life on February 18th, 2017. On a personal note, back in my younger days, I can remember watching Ivan wrestle at places like the old Starland Arena in Roanoke, Virginia, as well as the Dorton Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina, and of course, the Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina. Years later, I had the opportunity to meet Ivan several times at reunion shows and wrestling conventions, where he would sign autographs, pose for pictures, and just talk wrestling with the fans. Unlike his ring persona, Ivan Koloff was one of the nicest and most accommodating people I've ever met. Those fond memories will be with me forever. Rest in peace, Ivan. Well, I'm going to end this video here at the final resting place of Ivan Koloff here in the Pinewood Memorial Gardens in Greenville, North Carolina. How many of you grew up watching professional wrestling? You remember promotions like Georgia and Florida Championship Wrestling, or Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Mid-South Wrestling, or even World Class Wrestling? Who was your favorite wrestler, or wrestler that you love to hate? Let me know in the comments. And finally, if you remember Ivan Koloff or any of the people that we visit in these videos, be sure to share those memories with us as well. Now, until next time, please remember, life is a wonderful journey. Be sure to take time and enjoy it. And I'll see you down the road. So long, everybody.